Jamal, nice for you to join us. Are you one of the professionals that's actually ticking over and actually training whilst we've got this lockdown going on, or are you one of the guys that can't resist walking to the fridge constantly and picking and eating? How are you physically?
I mean, listen. I know Anthony can agree with me when I say this, but no pro likes to lose so much crazy weight. So of course, I'm trying to stay in shape. You know, I'm actually leaving Monday to go to Omaha to train with Terrence Crawford and get back into like a pre-camp setting again.
Whereabouts are you now?
Right now I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio with my family. So I've just been like I've been doing my cardio workouts and things like that. Like especially doing some road work, getting out there for a good run. But Monday I'm definitely gonna start. I'm going to get back into a gym setting and start hitting the bag and work with my trainers again. So just
So with you going out there to be with Crawford, has he got any ideas about or any aspirations about when he thinks he'll be out and about to see?
No, I'll probably find out more when I get to sit down with him and speak to him. But right now I know he's been in the gym, so he's been preparing for what's to come once this whole lockdown situation goes away. But I know, like I said, the team is starting to form up. Everyone is starting to make plans of getting back in the gym and just staying loose, because there's nothing worse than having ring rust on you going into big fights.
Jamal, they ought to be careful when Johnny asks you what Terrence is doing next, because he's Kell Brook's best friend. So
I'm a Kell Brook fan myself. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing that fight.
Whatever you tell Johnny now, he'll be on call. He'll be on a call to Kell in 5 minutes.
Jamal, it's strange because whenever we go over there to America, Kell Brook is he was heavily rated as one of the best in the world out there. What's the word on him now, in regard, or the opinion on him now out there in the States?
I know here in the States they still would like to see a Crawford Kell Brook fight, because Kell Brook never, in my opinion, I've never seen him have a bad fight. You know what I mean? Even when he was down and out, I always believed that. I thought Kell, at one point in time, I believed that Kell was the best welterweight in the world at one point in time myself. So like I said, that's a good name for both individuals to have on their resume. So I wouldn't, I know a lot of guys out here, if say Bud couldn't get one of the other welterweights, whatever, they wouldn't mind seeing him fight Kell Brook even at 154, if may be.
What do you think it could end up being at a weight above, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I know Kell Brook is just coming down in weight, but if it can happen at junior middleweight, then so be it.
Have you sparred with Crawford before?
Yeah, all the time.
Just 1 second.
Hey, we got a guest.
Yes,
I'm going through the same thing. My daughter's speaking to me over here about touching the guinea pigs. I'm like, wait a minute.
Guys, sorry.
Jesse likes to photo bomb us every week, doesn't he?
Yeah, every week. We get it every week, Jamal.
Yeah.
We get it every week. I was so I know you were saying then, Jamal, the last time I seen you was in Bolton, because you had your holding camp. 2012 holding camp was in.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you guys sort of spar and stuff like that. And then we go that day. I remember me, my coach, and some of the lads was watching you. And there's always some fighters from the US Olympic team who are going to go on,
right?
Superstars. And listen, you're one of them with the world title. How many from that team now has become world champions?
Oh, it's crazy. Like for starters, I actually enjoyed my time there, which is why I always praise saying I want to come back, even to fight in the UK. But if I go down the list, I know Rashid Warren became a world champion.
Yeah.
Jojo Diaz now, Jose Ramirez, myself, Errol Spence.
Some team.
Terrell Goucher went on to fight for a world title against Aris.
Marcus Brown. Yeah,
Marcus Brown was up there. Dominic Brazil fought twice. He fought Anthony Joshua and
Clarissa Shields. Clarissa Shields won. Yeah.
Jamal, what was
Errol Spence? We didn't even mention Errol Spence.
Yeah, you did. What was camp like, Jamal?
Oh, camp.
The Olympic base for you guys.
It was actually cool. Like Amir and everyone, they welcomed us with open arms, and you know, we learned a lot because like Anthony pointed out, we got to spar with different countries at the time that was coming also competing at the Olympics around that time. But it was really laid back and cool, and I just enjoyed my whole time, you know, being in the UK just for that entire experience, you know. So
how old was you? How old was you?
I was like 25.
You were 25 then. So you'd have been probably one of the oldest out of the crew there.
Yeah, me and Terrell and Rashid were around the same age.
Yeah.
What was it like after being in forces and doing 2 tours of, obviously you saw action in Iraq?
Oh yeah.
What were it like going from that extreme of high stress to then the stress of like qualifying for Olympics and boxing at Olympics? What were that like? Because I've seen that you're proud to have served your country and what you did over there.
Yeah.
I always say that boxing for me is more therapeutic, and it's especially mentally, because like I said, when you're in the military, you deal with a lot of obstacles. It's not so much physical, because a lot of things that come across your path is definitely for the mental aspect. But I always thought boxing was always my scapegoat, just to you know, get away and leave my worries and stresses at the door. But it was definitely a difference between, you know, defending your country on the battlefield and you know, defending your country in the ring at the Olympics. It's definitely 2 different aspects. But like I said, I respected you know, both. I respected my experience doing both things at the time. But definitely like I said, if you've been through so much with the military, boxing, you know, there's nothing that can really phase you going into the ring. And like, you've seen it all. You've seen it all. If anything, boxing is something that you choose to do and you enjoy. So that's how I look at things.
So there's 2 tours of Iraq, Jamel. There's 2 tours of Iraq. There was an Olympics representing your country for the Olympics. You've won a world title as a professional. When's the film coming out?
When's the what?
When's the film coming out?
Oh, everyone says that, you know. You know, I guess it'll happen when it happens. Like I said, you know, but like I said, I'm just enjoying the ride. You know, I say, Anthony, I followed your story as well, brother, man. Like I know how hard it is to get to, you know, to get to that the pinnacle, to the top. And it's like, you know, with boxing, we all know it's just that small window. So right now, I'm just gonna enjoy it and keep riding the wave. But like I said, I've heard the whispers of a film and things like that, you know, a book, you know. But yeah, I'm just focusing on with taking everything one day at a time.
Jamal, you've just actually been in a movie, haven't you? I saw that. You've not just been in a remake of West Side Story.
Yes.
Wow. Did they have you on for your dancing, your singing, or your boxing?
You know what? I got the easier job. In my scene, all I did was do what I know we do on an everyday basis, which is just box. So like when they was dancing and everything, I was on the side just beating up a bag, and it's funny because I actually caught the attention of Steven Spielberg during the whole shoot, because he was like, "Who is this guy that's just over here just welling on the bag?" And then we spoke, and like me and Steven had like a great time. But it was interesting. Like I had to change up my whole look. I had like the 1950s hairdo with the part in my head, and
would you hope to get involved in that later on in life?
Oh yeah. Like you know, especially when you have so much time in between, when you get to that level, like, you know, in bigger fights, you have a lot of time in between. So like for me, I would definitely like to stay busy. So I always try to find different things to do, which I did around that time. Which I just want to like I said, just stay busy and just keep going, because I'm so used to being on that military lifestyle still. So which is just on the go all the time. But if I'm not, you know, spending time with my family, of course, I would love to just dip into other different things. Okay.
What's the Frampton situation?
Me and Carl have a very respectful and mutual plan with the fight. Of course, we haven't got to sign any paperwork, because the reason for that was not because of any like money issues and things like that. Is because when the whole coronavirus situation hit, we couldn't basically put a certain date on the contract, because, you know, like I said, we was originally supposed to fight June 12th, but as we all know, that's out of the picture. And I know both Frank Warren and Bob Arum, they want to have that fight still, but with an audience presence. So that obviously is definitely holding things back, because we already know, at least I know in the U.S. they want to do have shows where there's no audience, but for that fight, and just like the Fury Wilder situation, you know, these promoters want to have these fights with an atmosphere. So I know, like I said, they probably want to push it back to maybe the end of the year if things go back to normal. But me and Carl definitely, we both want to fight.
Are you too cool with each other? You smart? You cross paths before?
You know, like you know what it is. Like with me, when I look at boxing, I don't really have bad blood. Like I respect it as a sport. First off, and I feel like when you try to force things at times and trying to be the bad guy and be something you're not, the fans, they pick up on it and they definitely can see right through it. So if anything, I just say, I'd rather just be myself. Carl, he has a family, I have a family. He has children, he's a father. I'm a father. Like if you look at it, we have a lot of similarities, if anything, but we both know what's on the line. I know he wants to make history, and I just want to, add more to my legacy. And Carl Frampton is definitely a good fighter. And like I said, I'm actually a fan long before we even thought of fighting each other. I watched the Quigg fights. I watched the Dornier fights, the Warrington fights, and I was happy when he beat Leo Santa Cruz. So like I've been a fan and I respect him first, but I know once we get in the ring, it's just all business.
I saw somewhere, Jamal, that Carl had done, because obviously he's obviously, with the greatest respect, I think he's admitted himself a few times he's only probably got a couple of fights that he wanted to do.
Yeah.
He said that he'd maybe consider doing the fight with yourself without a crowd to avoid a delay. How would you feel about boxing with a? We've just been speaking about it before you jumped on. How strange it would probably be for the boxers. How would you feel about that?
I mean, I wouldn't have an issue with it. Like I said, my thing is boxing is definitely entertainment. The entertainment sport is entertainment first at times, and business of course. But I look at it like this: if the fans still want to see it, I'm all for it. Of course, it'll be a totally different experience for any fighter going into a situation like this, especially like when you get into the top of the level now, and it's like you're doing big fights with no crowds. But like I said, if they like Frank Warren and Bob Arum come to the table and they decide they want to do it that way, and so be it. But like at the end of the day, I know that we'll meet each other in the ring and we'll handle business and get the fans a good fight.
It wouldn't be the same though fighting outdoors in Belfast, Jamal.
No, and the thing about it,
in Belfast,
and the crazy part about it is me being an American fighter, I was actually excited to go to Belfast. Like I said,
great atmosphere, great.
Yeah, because I want to get that. Like I said, we all know not every American can get that atmosphere. Like I love the Kell Brook and Spence fight, and I was like, man, one day I gotta get that type of atmosphere, whether it's in Ireland or the UK. I have to get to that. I have to fight over there to defend for my title or win a title. But that was always one of my goals, for my own career. So, and the thing is now that because I'm hearing about maybe because now the time change with the fight. We may have to bring the fight over here, which is like
in an arena.
I'm like okay with it. It's crazy. Me being an American fighter, I'm like okay with it, even if they have to match the garden. But I still wanted that European atmosphere. That's just neat because I wanted to basically set the standards on what it means to be a world champion. Because I can admit too many American fighters, they get this whole idea that they have to stay in country in order to get a fair shake. But I look at it like this: at the end of the day, your talent speaks for itself. So if you're a world champion, you should go wherever the people want to see you around the world and compete at, like the greats did back in the day.
That's the responsibility of being a champion. I suppose traveling abroad for you is not foreign with you being in the military before, so you're not intimidated by going abroad. Where most fighters, they go abroad, they don't perform to the best of their ability.
Right, that's true. But and plus, I've had an amateur experience where I've traveled internationally. So, and it's like I said, the Olympics is probably the biggest thing that I can do as an amateur, of course. So that's why I would say that when I was in the UK for that, I was like, you know what, I have to come back here as a pro someday because I like the people were definitely welcoming. and I had a great time. Like to me, London, in my opinion, it feels like New York where I'm from. So
Yeah.
I easily adapted over there with that experience. But yeah, I just think that every fighter should make the most of their career and fight on the biggest stages as much as possible. If the opportunity presents itself.
I nearly thought all then when you said about being in, it was like New York. I thought you were almost going to say Bolton were like New York. I was like, what?
Oh yeah, Bolton was
Bolton
definitely
like New York.
yeah, Bolton was definitely a totally different experience. But when I got to London, I was like, yes, I loved it over there.
Speaking of different fighters, are you keeping an eye on the likes of Josh Warrington, Kid Galahad? Are you keeping an eye on those?
One thing about me is that I'm a fan first of the sport. Like I said, I've been watching Anthony when he was coming up, you know, and they doubted him, and I watched the both fights with Linares and things like that. So I definitely, you know, I'm always going to be a fan. I respect the UK presence in boxing for sure. Like I said, I was actually, people look at me crazy when I said I was a fan of the Frank Brunos and the Lennox Lewises when I was growing up. So, you know, I watched the Prince Naseems and I was a Joe Calzaghe fan. He beat up one of my fellow Olympian, you know, Jeff Lacey. So that's one thing about me. I do, and now that I'm in the pro game myself, of course I watch, you know, the fighters in the weight class below, the weight class that I'm obviously in, even at the weight class above. Because like we all know, boxing changes quickly. Like you'll see a kid, like I mean, look at Carl Frampton. Who would have thought that he would have from 122?
Super bantamweight.
Yeah, and then now so I always keep track of everything that's going on. Like I said, I laugh at the you know, scenario with Eddie Hearn and Warrington arguing with Corey Stevenson. Like to me, it's entertainment. You know, it's part of the business. It's part of promoting, but. You know, there's a lot of fights that I not only did I like look at, but I would love to see as a fan. So I definitely pay attention to everybody out there.
Yeah. You were saying, Jamel, you know that 2012 Olympic team, and we're saying how many world champions have gone on. Do you know from that? If you had, I don't think you would anyway. You would say that about yourself, but who would you say was the most talented? Who was the guy who you've seen, or even the girl in Clarissa who you've seen and you thought they're going to be a special fighter as a professional?
Well, I already knew Clarissa Shields was going to be something special because she was like 16, 17 years old, and she was, you know, dominating.
I was there that day. She was sparring, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, she was still a kid. But I thought if I had to choose between my teammates, I always would have picked Errol Spence and Jose Ramirez. And what's funny is I'm very close, like in that with the Jose situation, I'm actually close friends with Josh because we fought each other during the in 2011 in November during the Olympic test trials.
Yes.
But that's how me and Josh Taylor became, you know, close friends at that time too. And that's why I respect boxing and people from different countries because at the end of the day we all you know fight, we all love the same sport and like I watched Josh because he couldn't make the spot at junior welterweight at the time. So Josh moved down to 100, you know, to lightweight in the Olympics. So I pay attention to not just my team, but everything that was going on, and I was happy for him. You know, when he won his first title, I watched when he won his first title. You know, him and Prograis are good friends of mine, but I watched him as well. So Josh Taylor has always he's always been another guy that I respected throughout the years, and we laugh. Like sometimes I get on Instagram and I tag him in when he beat. I put the clip when he beat me in the amateurs for like 3 points. But like you know, like I said, it's all fun and games, and like that's another fight that I would love to see between him and Jose because they're two good talented individuals, and they're just great men in and out the ring.
You're a student of the sport. You're a student of the sport, Jamal, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. I pick up something from everybody. Like like I said, Prince Naseem to me was the greatest showman of when I was coming up as a kid. So you know, I pick up things from that. I respected that. Like I said, Joe Calzaghe, he may not have been the biggest puncher, but he definitely knew he had like a great punch output, and he was slick, he was sharp. So and like I said, when Kell Brook came over to beat my guy Sean Porter, you know, I was impressed because we all know for the longest they kept writing off Kell. They kept saying that Kell was avoiding the fight because he was supposed to fight Devin Alexander at that time, before Devin had lost the title to Sean. So when Kell Brook You know, Sean Porter's a tough guy, but when I seen that Kell Brook and neutralize him with the jab in his range, I respected the craft and technique that Kell Brook was doing at the time, and I thought that Kell Brook was the best welterweight in the world.
Jamel, who do you think would have won between Kell Brook and Amir Khan?
I gotta give it to Kell. I love it, and Amir Khan is a good fighter. I have a lot of respect for Amir Khan, but I just think that Amir Khan has been in probably more of the, you know, we all, like Anthony and I, we know, like with boxing, a lot of wear and tear from all the fights over the years. And even though Kell suffered the eye injuries from the Golovkin fight and the Spence fight, I just think that Amir has been in the tougher battles at times, especially when you put the Canelo fight and things like that in perspective. And and sometimes you gotta look at the layoffs that Amir has taken in between the years, you know. So that plays a lot. But it'll be a good fight, of course. Amir definitely still has the speed advantage and things like that. But I just think that Kell just a tad more in the tank and sharper at times.
Jamal, when you talk about the importance of boxing and the history of boxing to you and what it means to be a world champion, when you look at a situation we've had in the UK, like we've had Kell Brook and Amir Khan turn pro more or less at a similar time, being rivals for years and years, both world champions. Do you think it's a real shame, something they might regret that they never did square off and show up?
Oh yeah, I mean, the American public, they definitely would have loved to see that fight as well, because especially at the time when they both were at the top of their game, long before even Kell when he fought Golovkin. But we me personally, I still would love to see it, because grudge matches always make for a good fight at the end of the day, and I would love to see that fight. But yeah, it's kind of a shame. Even on our end, when we had to wait so many years to see the Mayweather Pacquiao fight take place. Hopefully we don't have to wait long for the Errol Spence and Crawford fight to take place. But it's just a shame in today's boxing how these big fights, they just have too many obstacles in the way. Unlike the fighters of the '80s with the Durans and the Leonards and the Haglers, and they were all fighting back to back to back around in that same circle. But that's just boxing, I guess it is today. I know one fight I would love to see though. I would love to see the Fury Joshua fight for sure.
Yes, we were speaking about that there.
Yeah, definitely would love to see that fight. Like I
Jamal,
said, I actually was this is the thing. I'm gonna go back from the first Wilder Fury fight. In the first fight, I thought Fury won the fight. I thought he did a phenomenal job of boxing. Even with the 2 knockdowns, I thought he had too many rounds in the bag. And I thought in going into the second fight, because we know Wilder how he is in rematches, I thought he was gonna pull off a big hit, because he seems to do better in rematches than the first time around. But Fury definitely surprised me. I thought if Fury would have won, I thought he was gonna go to the cards again, 12-round decision. But he definitely surprised me with the knockout. And from then, I said that Fury was definitely the number one man in the division, hands down. And I wasn't like some of the American fans that were complaining and crying for the rematch. I thought the man won fair and square. This boxing, and I was actually looking forward to. I'm looking forward to a Fury Joshua showdown. I know it'll be big in the UK, not just in the UK, but in the world, for the world, because it's an undisputed championship. I mean, we haven't got those type of heavyweight fights since maybe the Lennox and the Holyfield days of the late '90s, early 2000s. So I'm all for it.
So the most important thing is, who would you put your dollars on?
You gotta go with Fury, man. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Fury, and this is a true story that I tell everybody now. Fury actually motivated me to share my story about PTSD and depression from my military days, when he came out and shared the story about alcoholism and depression and what he went through. And I respected him a lot. I was like him, but I definitely respected him a lot more for being a man and opening up to the world of what he was going through. And it's like, no matter what he does now, it's like it's hard for you to count that man out. Like he can do it all. He can box. He's slick. He's slick for his frame. He's real slick. He's fast, and he proved he can hit. So it was like, And I like Joshua, but we know that you know, Anthony has had times you know, the stamina issues, and I think that's probably maybe his one main weakness in his arsenal. But like I said, you gotta go with the Gypsy King.
So what do you think of the situation where Wilder wants to have another fight with Fury? Can you see any sense in that?
I mean, it's that part that comes in the business aspect, but to me personally, I look at it like from that time, even with the whole the virus situation, I think from the second fight to the third fight, there's still not enough time for you to really improve on, you know, what you could have fixed from even because I thought, like I said, I thought Fury won the first fight to begin with. So it was like, well, how much can you really improve from, you know, those two fights to now? Even if you have to like definitely not only bring somebody in, but I think he needs to probably take a fight in between that, you know, to get back where he was at one point. And so in between then, why not just have the allow Fury and Joshua to go at it and do a big thing not only for the UK but for the sport of boxing.
Jamal,
Do you not think that this delay with COVID, and I don't know who he has gone with, the rumours haven't really broke, have they, who Wilder might be looking to go and train with, but do you not think the longer break might give him a better chance in a rematch?
Probably so, because like I said, that shot he took really knocked his whole equilibrium off, and so I think like the more you rest your body, the better. But you don't want to be out too long because like I said, some fighters, you know, they're at home, probably just sitting around, so that doesn't do them any justice either. But it's always good to let your body rest as long as possible. But at the same time, you gotta stay active and do something out there. So hopefully he's out there fine tuning and fixing some things. But like for me, I'm not really interested in seeing the third fight, and that's just being just my honest opinion. I'd rather there's a lot of good other heavyweight fights out there, of course. Even though, of course, you want to get your title back, so I can understand that aspect of it. But for me as a fan, I really don't want to, you know, see a third fight. I'd rather see if anything, if you can't even have a Wilder a Fury Joshua fight, I still would rather see the Joshua Wilder fight, you know. But I don't think that him fighting Tyson a third time is going to change anything from the first two fights.
You touched on, Jamal, you mentioned there about the PTSD you suffered from being in forces, and your struggles with depression after that. How did you come to terms with that, if you don't mind talking about it?
Definitely.
How did you come to terms with that after?
Yeah, my family was definitely a huge inspiration in that, because, you know, when you're in the military, you think at times you're supposed to be, you know, hard and you know, men don't cry type, you know, aspect of things. But my family started seeing the change in my attitude and my behavior. That's when my wife told me that I had to do something also to end up risking losing my family. And you know, and I was going downhill.
In terms of time, when was this pre-Olympics or post-Olympics?
No, this is actually pre and early in my pro career.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like, I know, like, this is a true story. When I won the Olympic trials, I was going back to you know, my unit in the military, and I was out there, you know, partying too hard and wasn't really staying focused and things like that. And even early in my pro career, I was having issues and trouble. But then it was when I started seeing that things wasn't going the way I wanted to in my career, and more importantly with my family, I knew it was time for a change. So I went out there to go get help. And I thought I got help, and I definitely seeing what Tyson did in terms of, you know, sharing his story. I decided to share my story more and more as well, and just open up. And let people know at the end of the day that I'm human just like everyone else, you know. Like, just because I may, you know, fight on TV or do this or whatever, I'm no different from you, you know, from the next man. You know, I have my problems, I have my struggles as well. But like for the most part, I look at it like this: if I can share my story and potentially inspire someone else to do better with their lives and go get help themselves, you know, that right there is enough. That's what a true champion is. It's not about how much money you make during your career or how many belts you hold. I think a true champion is someone who definitely does good in life as a whole. So I just want to be remembered as, you know, a good person by heart, if anything, more than what I've done in the ring.
That's good. That's really good to hear.
Yeah, fantastic.
I'm sure you've done that and more, Jamel. I'm sure you've done that and more. Was it hard in your career? Because I bet there was times sort of during those days and even, sort of with the Shafikov fights and stuff like that. So now it makes it all the sweeter. Like, I was going to say, do you have any regrets, or is that part of the story? Do you see that's part of the story? That's made you the man you are today and the fighter you are today?
I think that definitely, it actually took a lot of weight off my shoulders, because
Yes.
you're in the same era as I am, that we live in an era now, like, you have to have this undefeated perfect record, and that puts a lot of pressure on fighters. So like the Shafikov fight for me, it was more of a awakening, awakening call.
It's a learning fight as well.
Yeah, and in order for me to get here, I gotta take steps, and it takes levels to get to that top. So I didn't want to go out as a quitter for sure. And like I said, I have no regrets, because I think at that time, like I said, you're undefeated. You start taking things for granted. You think that you can go in any fight and just do whatever you want and still come out with a W. And I was doing that at the time, but like at the Shafikov fight, it just made me dig deeper, and it's just like, okay, this is where the real story starts, of course. And it also lets you know. It also tells you who are the people really with you.
Totally.
When you're down and out,
the people are there for the long run. Yeah, who's there?
Exactly. So after that, like I say, it kind of like my story is kind of like a fairy tale story. Like, I've been through the bottom, but here I am now, and that's why I appreciate it. And it just humbled me more. I always been a humble person, but it definitely humbled me more. And I don't take much for granted anymore.
Brilliant.
Jamel, you turned pro, like we say, you turned pro pretty late at 27-ish. You've just creeped over into your 30s now. Do you still, because you turned a lot later, do you still feel very fresh?
Oh yeah, only because, like, not because of much of the age. It was like, with boxing, you got to take care of your body. You got to and that's why I had to stop doing all the crazy stuff that I was doing at an early age. You got to if you want to last long in the sport, you definitely have to have discipline, and you have to have discipline not only in the gym but outside the gym when the camera's not rolling. So like I said, like when I look at Carl, we're right there age, but like people say that maybe Carl's maybe a little bit more war torn, because like I said, he's been like where I beat Carl at in size and reach or whatever. I always say that Carl beats me in experience, because he's been in the bigger fights. He's had more world championship fights, and I give him that respect. But like people also look at, because of those fights, maybe he's probably, in terms of the boxing aspect, aged a little bit more than me, of course. But like I said, when it comes to at the end of the day, I'm still going to prepare for the best Paul Frampton. But I think that because I haven't had too many battles, that my body still can hold up.
Brilliant. Anything else, chaps?
No, we're good.
Jamel, great speaking to you, mate.
Jamel, great speaking with you guys, man. Like I said, I love what you guys do, man. To me, I'm a fan. I respect you guys all. I tune in, Anthony. I always been watching you for years, man.
Yeah, it means a lot.
I'm glad to see you out there looking good, man. Like I said, I would love to see you get back in the ring. Yeah,
I'm done.
Oh man, this is me giving, like I said, but hey man, you've had a good career then, man. Like I said, much respect.
No, I hope to see you. I'll make sure I'm there as well. If you and Carl fight over in Belfast, that'd be brilliant. We'll make sure we're there. I'll be there for sure.
Okay, any message to British fans, Jamel, before you shoot off? Anything?
Oh man, like I said, man, you guys, like I said, some of the best fans around the world, period. Especially in the sport of boxing. Like I said, I'm just grateful that I have, at least a British following. So that for me says enough for me, and it keeps me humble. But like I said, I definitely still want to fight in the UK, whether it happens this year or next year. I'm definitely coming to the UK for something big. And like I said, much love and respect to you all.
You take care, my friend.
Thank you.
Look at this.
Take care.
What a nice,
lovely guy.
What a
he's a proper student, isn't he?
Proper. You could date him, couldn't you, Johnny?
Yeah, he's a proper student. I like that.
That's so wide that, isn't it? Like, Marine. I knew he was a Marine, Rich, and when you said that, I was going to get onto that. So he'd done 2 tours. I didn't know he'd done the 2 tours. He's done the 2 tours of Iraq. He'd been an Olympian. Obviously, and like I said, in his career, he lost his Shafikov, because I remember him fighting Shafikov. So he would have been writ off, and then he's come back. won a world title, and you think, you know what? It's nice to see that, isn't it? Nice to see.
Yeah. He just come across as a absolute.
Yeah, just a nice, genuine guy, wasn't he?
Himself at all, where he's just a nice, genuine kid.
Yeah. Now you see that from him, but wow, yeah. That is some life he's had.
Yeah, you could do a movie of it, couldn't you? I mean, Olympic, 2 tours of duty. Mad.